Good evening from PLUGHITZ Studios. I'm Scott.
I'm Avram.
And we are here with episode 485 of F5 Live, Refreshing Technology for November 26th, 2017. This show is a proud part of the Tech Podcast Network. This week, Uber has a bad week, Minecraft has a good edition, and YouTube has some new rules. Wherever you are and however you may be joining us, whether it be through Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music Podcasts, Podcast Play in the Microsoft Store, on Facebook or YouTube, or on any of our live platforms, livestream.com, Periscope, Twitch, or Mixer, or of course on our apps, PLUGHITZlive.com/apps. Thank you for making us a part of your day. This here is F5 Live, Refreshing Technology, the flagship show on the PLUGHITZ Live family of content. We are live Sunday nights at about 9 p.m. Eastern. We go for about an hour. We talk about the tech news of the week. There are two ways that you can join us. The first is by joining us live at f5live.tv/join us. There you can chat with us in the chat room and talk to us about the topics as we talk about them. Avram and I love to hear about what you think about the topics that we're discussing, especially during the Pilch Point, which will be on in just a little bit. We'll be talking about some kid tech. Or if you're not able to join us live, that is okay. You can subscribe by going to plughitzlive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows, including this one, the Pilch Point, our special events feed, our Unboxed series, our First Look series, and a lot more. So feel free to head over there. Even if you're watching live, head over there and subscribe to any of our other series as well. And with that, I think that's the spiel and possibly the fastest I've ever gotten through it. Avram, how are you?
All right, not bad. Crazy times. We're putting a lot of effort into highlighting deals for this holiday shopping week and weekend. Tomorrow's Cyber Monday, so that's a big deal. I'll be getting up really early to be watching the deals and and writing about them on our site. So if you're if you're looking for a deal on some tech, whether it's a laptop or anything else, even a micro SD card, definitely you definitely want to check out the home pages of tomsguide.com or laptopmag.com, where we'll have links to all of our deal resources, and I'll be deprived of sleep. So but it's cool. There's a lot of cool stuff on sale. Have you taken advantage of any of the sales, Scott?
I have.
Ordered anything?
Yeah, not a whole lot, but I did. I've been for editing the show in particular. One of the big slowdowns during my editing process is, especially for F5 Live, is disk read speed. And so I ended up getting, I picked up a 128 gig USB 3 flash drive that had like class 10 speed, that for like $20 or something crazy like that. And it's a SanDisk, like it's a real, and so I'm going to try putting the raw files on that when I render to see if that, like for F5 Live, the final copy process at the very end can take up to 25 minutes.
Wow.
And the hard drive spins at 100% for that whole 25 minutes. So I'm going to try and put the media on something that reads and writes faster than my spinning physical plate drive and see if that helps. And if it does, then I'm going to go get a real SATA drive to go in there to replace it. But this seemed like a $20 easy test. So, but it's just been little stuff like that. I got that, and like you mentioned, a SD card. I got an SD card for like almost free. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I got a 128 for $30.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So micro SD card for my phone. That was actually a few days ago. That was actually before Black Friday.
Okay.
I got a color laser printer, but it wasn't. It was this price a couple days before, so I'm not sure if you would call it a Black Friday sale, but I got.
It's that part of the show. Oh,
uh,
there he goes.
200, but it was fast. Okay.
It was
Yeah, I
very
got an
fast.
HP LaserJet color LaserJet 452 for $240.
Okay.
Um,
So you did find
you
your
know,
printer.
so yeah,
It-
yeah. So I mean, well, to be honest, it was already that price when I was asking him. I was asking on Facebook. I was mentioning this on my Facebook, like, hey, what are people looking for?
yeah.
And I said I'm looking for this printer. It didn't get any cheaper than it was then, but
Okay.
I saw other places had it on sale for more than I had seen it.
Okay.
So I figured this is not going to get any cheaper than this.
Sure.
And my wife could kind of use it sooner than later because she might use it for some of the holiday cards and things like that. Um, so I ordered on Friday, and it wasn't supposed to come till Wednesday, but it came yesterday. It came in like less than 24 hours,
Nice. So
which is ridiculous.
yeah, for sure. That's crazy. Now I have a strange kind of statistics question for you. What has been the winning retailer?
What do you mean, like?
Who has
Like, I don't know what their sales numbers are. You mean like
no.
who's got the best deals?
Yeah. Yeah, where have you guys
I
found
mean-
the largest collection of good deals?
Oh, well, I mean, Amazon has a bunch, but a lot of things on Amazon also are deals that were started beforehand.
Yeah.
So Amazon has a bunch. Dell had on laptops. Dell had unbelievable deals,
I saw
and
that.
Lenovo had some fantastic deals as well. The XPS 13, which is our favorite consumer laptop overall, with 8th generation Core i7 and a 256 SSD, was down at one point as low as $930. That's normally a $1,200, $1,300 product.
Yeah. That's a crazy good deal.
The ThinkPad T470, the best productivity notebook, that right now that has been down, and I think it's still even as we speak. You can get it for $779 with Core i5, a 1080p screen, and 180 gig SSD. 180 gig SSD is a little weird, but you can't custom configure that one. If you custom configure it and you want a 256 gig SSD and the larger battery that you probably might want, then that's slightly over. That's like $950, but still that's normally $1,100 or $1,200. So,
Okay.
So that's
So they had some really the manufacturers had some pretty good deals this year.
yeah. So Dell and Lenovo are always good places to look if you want one of their laptops to go to Dell.com or Lenovo.com. Amazon had some good deals on I mean, they had a few, cheap like Acer laptops and things like that they normally sell pretty well. Newegg also had some great deals.
Yeah.
Possibly the best deal I saw all weekend, and I'll leave it at that, is now gone. Newegg was selling a Surface Book, the Surface Book 1, not the 2.
Okay.
The entry level model, which has 8 gigs of RAM and 100. I think it was only 128 gig SSD. So was it 8 gig and 256 or 8 gig and 128? I don't remember. So I had the entry level Surface Book, right?
Yeah.
The base model Surface Book that 2 weeks ago Microsoft was selling for $1,500. They had for $799 with a $100 gift certificate.
Woo!
Gift card. So it was effectively $699.
Wow.
For I guess you'd have to spend that on Newegg stuff, but that's not hard to do.
Sure.
So yeah.
Dang.
So
that's a good deal right there.
yeah, that is a good deal. They sold out of it.
Yep, no kidding.
One of the things that people do see a lot of this season is things that are like the older model.
Yeah.
So like Surface Book 2 just came out. So now you're seeing a discount Surface Book 1. MacBook Pros from 2016 instead of 2017 are on some sales. Things like that you're seeing. But you're also seeing brand spanking new stuff like the 8th Gen Core.
Right.
XPS 13. So, it depends what you're looking for. But
for sure.
A lot of good deals out there on laptops. A lot of good deals out there on this is always a good time to buy storage and memory.
Oh yeah.
And some decent deals on monitors. Also, a good time to look at things like monitors and keyboards,
Yeah, for sure.
peripherals that you need.
And and if people want a good rundown of some of the stuff that is a good deal this time of year, if you go to PLUGHITZlive.com and look at the Pilch Point from last week, we covered a number of products that that can be a good deal and what to look for on what is and how to spot what is not a good deal. So go check that out. Before we get into the news real quick, I just want to congratulate our good friend Terry Willingham. She is somebody that we work with a lot, and this week she won the Tampa Bay Lightning Community Hero Award, which was really exciting. Big celebration during the game on Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving. So that was a really cool thing, and she definitely deserves it because I know nobody else in our area who does more to promote education than Terry Willingham. So, Terry, congratulations. This week's Nifty Gifties on F5 Live is probably powered by the Microsoft Store. Obviously, we were just talking lots of Black Friday deals going on right now on everything from Surface to Xbox, PCs, and more. Black Friday obviously being a weird misnomer anymore, but you know what we're talking about. You can save money on a Surface Pro bundle. You can get an Xbox One S for as low as $189, which is insane and way less than I paid for my first gen. The Windows Mixed Reality, there are bundles and sales on the headsets, so you can check all of that out by going to f5live.tv/Microsoft. So, we've talked a number of times over the years about companies who have just had a bad week. And this week, Uber has had a bad week, in particular from a legal perspective. They had two big things hit them back to back this week. One, they kind of inflicted on themselves, which we'll explain in a second. But first, we'll deal with a problem that has cropped up for them multiple times, and that is bad background checks. Uber has been known for being a little lax on their driver background checks. There was a period of time where they were making decisions on whether to accept a driver before the background check was complete, and this has been a problem for them over and over and over. And this week, the state of Colorado, in fact, the Colorado Public Utilities Commission, released a study and a fine against Uber for the same general thing. In fact, they found that in their research, they discovered 57 drivers who were not eligible to drive, either because they were violent felons, they had DUIs, or in one case, the driver was an escaped convict who was literally on the lam. And so, obviously, that's the kind of stuff that you almost don't even need a background check. You just need to read the newspaper to know about. And all of them were driving. So, Uber was hit with a $8.9 million fine for that, which obviously makes sense. And it's important to note that all of the problems that existed there existed pre the current administration. The current CEO and their new team, all of these things are from a time before that. Because the new CEO has not been in place terribly long in the grand scheme of things, and this 57 drivers covers an 18-month period. So the majority of this, and even probably the decisions for the ones that might have still been driving, were all made before the new CEO, who seems to be massively proactive, which I think is something that the company needs. Have you noticed that, Avram?
Yeah, I mean, the reputation of Uber has it's not had a good reputation. I
Right.
mean, it's had, obviously it's very successful, but they keep shooting themselves in the foot with bad PR.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And so bad that they dismissed the previous CEO.
Yes, but when you have something like problems like those, it's probably more than just the CEO.
For sure. And case in point is our second topic. They announced this week that there had been a data breach. Now, that in and of itself is not necessarily news anymore because it seems like everybody has had one this year. But what makes this news is that it didn't happen this year. It happened last year, and the previous CEO decided to cover it up and to pay the hackers $100,000 to, quote, delete the data, which, of course, isn't the way a hacker group is going to work, and certainly not one who's capable of getting into Uber's systems. And the only reason that this was discovered at all is that the new CEO had actually been going through past records and found this data breach and was like, I don't seem to remember hearing about this. Personally dug into it, found that no, of course, nobody heard about it, discovered the payment and the cover up. And today, two of the security officials with the company are gone, including the chief security officer, who was responsible for the problem that allowed them in and then was part of the cover-up process. And the CEO said, essentially, I can't fix what has happened in the past, but what I can say is I'm going to work hard to make sure nothing like this ever happens again, which is what I would hope from the replacement for the past CEO, who, like you said, under the last administration, there were PR issue after PR issue, even, him being
Well,
a little weird and
here's the
boastful. So that's the response I would expect. It would
here
be nice to see if they can live up to it.
well, here's really the question. Nothing like what ever happens again. Nothing like covering it up or nothing like getting a data breach. Because data breaches seem to happen so often, and the penalty for companies that are doing it is almost nil.
Yeah.
Like, remember a few years ago when everyone was upset about Target and Home Depot leaking credit card numbers?
Uh huh.
I mean,
Be
I don't think their sales this holiday season are affected by it at all.
No, of course not.
You
And
know,
and on top of theirs was because an employee in both cases, an employee in one of their stores had downloaded something they shouldn't have on the computer. It wasn't even Target or Home Depot's fault. In this case, it was actually the chief security officer had a. They won't say what the problem was, but obviously the chief security officer missed something and left a hole. So in this case, it actually is directly the company's fault, and yeah, nothing's going to come of it. But at least, hopefully,
I mean,
what I think the CEO means is that we won't see them ignore the trust that the public has put into them.
right.
I
Well,
hope.
I mean, like look at the Equifax situation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that's a really serious breach. Like everybody's information is out there, right? It's all out there. So like the really important information, like their social security number and stuff like that, that you can use for like really serious identity theft.
Oh yeah.
Your credit card number being stolen, that seems to happen every other day.
Right.
So what
Exactly.
information did Uber really have for people? It had probably had their address and their credit card number, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't give Uber your social security number, right?
Unless you're a driver.
Oh, okay. Well, did they say whether it was? I guess they lost the driver's information too.
It was
Oh,
both.
well,
Yeah. Um,
okay.
so my my guess is that whatever was lost, according to Bloomberg, the data that was lost was not critical data. It wasn't social. It wasn't even credit card information. Now, obviously, is Bloomberg correct on that? I don't know, because Uber didn't seem to say, so I don't know where they're necessarily getting their information. But yeah, Bloomberg says that the data that was taken wasn't quote unquote critical, and according to Uber, they paid off the hackers to delete it. But obviously, we know that's probably nonsense. They took the $100,000 and ran.
Yep.
So, I guess the takeaway from this is, if you have an Uber account or had an Uber account in 2016, maybe go back to like mid 2016 and make sure nothing weird happened on your credit card. And I guess that's about the extent of what you can do on that. But it does seem like the new corporate leadership seems to be taking a different direction on managing the company, and I think that is really the important aspect of both of these. Is that the new management seems to be aware of the problems, and as they're made aware of them, they seem to be fixing them. Because in the past, Uber had always denied like background check issues, and in this case, they're like, "Yep, we had a problem. Sorry, our bad. We fixed it." Which is not how they've handled these things in the past. So it really does seem like the change in CEO has changed the way the company is responding to issues, and maybe that will help them out. I don't know. This week's Pilch Point with Avram Pilch is proudly powered by Monster Products. The headphones on my head right now, the Monster Elements, available in on-ear, over-ear, and in-ear. And of course, all kinds of other headphones, earbuds, Bluetooth, and wired. They've also got Bluetooth speakers, from the little Hotshot to the big Monster Blaster, which, by the way, one of my favorite products even this year. We talked about it last year. It's still one of my favorites. And all of the cables and power to hook up those and all of your other devices, whether it be your computer, your home entertainment system, are all available by going to PLUGHITZLive.com/monster. And that music means that it is time for the Pilch Point with online editorial director of Laptop Magazine and Tom's Guide, Avram Pilch. Avram, this is quite a weekend for you.
Yeah. I mean, it was all right. Yes, I got to spend some family time yesterday and today. Thursday and Friday, we were working real hard to help bring everyone the Black Friday deals to help them, find the best. And we'll be doing the same tomorrow. But one of the things that it's a great time to buy are laptops for your kids, and especially because holiday this is the holiday season, so that might make a nice gift come gift giving time. So the question is, so what kind of laptops should you get a kid, and how much should you spend? Well, if you're talking about a kid that's not a teenager yet, like 7 to 12, you definitely, and even a young teenager like 13, 14, you probably should not be. You should probably be trying to spend under $500, because, let's face it, you can have a very responsible child, but they may drop it. Do you really want to spend $1,000 on a laptop for your kid and then watch them drop it and break it? Feel a little less bad if you spent $200-$300 on it than if you spent $1,000.
Sure.
So I mean, I don't think too many people have $1,000 to drop on their kid's laptop anyway. So what's out there? What can you get? What's a good deal? Well, part of it depends on what your child is using in school, if they are using something in school.
Sure. So
a lot of schools do Chromebooks, and if your child has a Chromebook in school and they want to replicate that experience at home, because a lot of schools have them where they let you use the Chromebook in the school, but then you don't get to take it home. If they get to take it home, then you're probably not shopping for a laptop, right? You're probably letting them use that.
Sure.
But if they don't get to take it home, there's they have a Chromebook. You want them to sort of replicate that experience at home. Having Chromebooks is good. Chromebooks are good for kids because they're hard to infect with a virus and they're very easy to use. Our favorite one for kids is the Acer Chromebook Flip 213 SA. It's not the cheapest Chromebook. Right now it's on sale for $299 at Amazon. The Chromebook Flip C213 SA. And why do we like it? We like it because it is nearly indestructible. You can drop it from 4 feet onto concrete, and it will survive. We tested it, so it's not, and it has superior battery life. It has 11 hours and 8 minutes of battery life. It's very lightweight, and it's a 2-in-1, so you can run Android apps on it. The only real downside to it is the screen is standard 1366 by 768, so it's not a great screen, and it's a Celeron processor, but that's fine for a Chromebook. So we like that one a lot because it's nearly indestructible. We also like a lot for kids the Inspiron 11 3000 for as far as Windows notebooks go. Last I checked, as of this moment, you could get that laptop. It is a Windows 10 laptop, 11.6 inches. It lasts over 13 hours on a charge, and you can get it starting at $166 at Dell.com.
Nice.
It's normally like $199, and now they have it at $195 with 15% off, so it's $166. I think that's the 2 gigabyte model. You would probably want to see if you could configure it with 4 gigabytes of RAM for better performance. And that's really nice looking for kids too, because it comes in bright red, white, or blue colors. So that's a cool one for Windows. Now, if you spend a little bit more, the Acer Switch, the Acer Spin 1 that we discussed last week, $329, is a fantastic 2-in-1 with Windows. It has one of the most beautiful screens you can get on any laptop. It's a 1080p vibrant screen. It's got a nice keyboard. It's got a Pentium inside, so don't expect super performance, but it comes with an active stylus, so that's pretty cool. And you can get a version of it that is not the one we tested. In other words, it's not metal, but probably has the same screen and other specs for under $300 at Target. I think they have one for like $270. So that's a really fantastic deal. Now, if portability, one last one, if portability is no concern, you figure the kid and maybe other members of the family are going to use this laptop on a desk. They're not taking it to school. They're just using it around the house, maybe on the couch, maybe just on a desk. Then a 15-inch laptop, the Acer Aspire E15 is a great deal. There are several configurations to the E15, but you want the one that is the E5 575 33BM. That it right now is $315 on sale at Amazon. Normally it's $350, so it's a good deal even when it's not on sale. So look for the $350/$315 one on Amazon. This one comes with a Core i3 processor, a 1080p screen, a 1 terabyte hard drive, 4 gigs of RAM, and it lasts over 8 hours on a charge. So pretty good deal, all things considered. And it has a DVD drive should you actually need one of those.
Wow.
So those are my recommendations for the best laptops for kids. We have a few more on our best laptops for kids page on Laptop Mag, but to learn more about that, to see more deals on laptops that are up to the minute, I definitely recommend people check out laptopmag.com, where we're working on this all the time. But I think the key element that you're looking for with kids is, you know, inexpensive, affordable, difficult to destroy, and then figure out is it Chrome OS because I use it in school, or is it Windows?
That makes sense to me. Um, Obviously, Avram, we always appreciate. Have you guys tested out, and where do, if you have, where do the Epic Learning laptops land? Because I know it's a brand that we hear about when talking about kids stuff kind of often, and I was wondering, do you guys ever interact with those? Do you know anything about
We
them?
haven't, we have not yet. This
Okay.
might be our thing to do. We have not yet done it, but maybe we will soon.
Okay.
Um, I think generally what's good for kids is what's good for adults, minus you just want to make sure that it's secure, it's indestructible. Oh, and one more little thing: if it's a child that's say like 12 or under, you probably want to try to get them an 11.6-inch laptop or a 10-inch. Well, there's very few 10-inch. You probably want to get them an 11.6-inch laptop with an 11.6-inch screen because that's much easier for smaller hands to carry and to fit on a smaller lap.
That makes sense. I hadn't considered the smaller laptop for like carrying purposes. I'd always thought that a smaller screen was better, but I just hadn't put it together why I thought that. That makes sense. Huh. All right. Well, Avram, as always, thank you. And you said the list from Laptop Mag is on laptopmag.com. Is it on the homepage?
We'll put it on the homepage after you can easily get to it.
Okay.
Plus, what's really important is check out our deals. We've got a lot of deals on there on many of these laptops.
Fantastic. Well, have a have a good week. Hopefully, tomorrow isn't gonna kill you.
Hopefully.
This week's Extra Life on F5 Live is proudly powered by Razer. All the gaming accessories that you need to up your PC and console gaming experience, from keyboards and mice to the new PC and Xbox One controller. Razer has got it all. And of course, specials going on right now, because you would be crazy not to be running specials right now. They've got a number of their gaming keyboards on pretty big sales, as much as almost 50% off. And of course, they've got more than just their keyboards. They've got mice and stuff as well. And to find all of the deals and to find all of their other products, you can go to f5live.tv/Razer. All right. So, Microsoft bought a company called Beam a little over a year ago and has since renamed it to Mixer, which some of you might be watching us on right now because we broadcast on Mixer. If you're not, Mixer is a Twitch competitor platform, but it adds a capability that Twitch doesn't have. On Twitch, if the viewers want to control the gamer's experience, they basically have to flood the chat room with comments and hope that the gamer takes the suggestion. On Mixer, if a game implements Mixer's capabilities, they can allow the viewers to control aspects of the experience. And this week, Microsoft has added that capability to arguably their biggest franchise, Minecraft. And through there, viewers on Mixer will be able to spawn enemies, add obstacles, or even change day to night, which is pretty cool. But along with this comes the ability to stream to Mixer directly from the app, which means you don't have to have screen scraping or anything like that. Even on Windows 10, you don't have to Windows Game Bar and kick on Mixer. It can just come right out of the app, which is kind of cool. And it means that you have the ability to stream the game from Android on a lower powered device that may not be able to play the game and run the screen scraper side by side. You'd still be able to stream because it's built in directly and the resource requirements are lower. And even on Android, you get the capability of all of the Mixer add-ons. In fact, you get it on PC, Xbox One, and on Android, which is pretty cool. It's nice to see some of this stuff start showing up in bigger title games, right, Avram?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great to be able to add more functionality to games like Minecraft.
Well, either really. The place that I see it, that I was most excited about this capability when Microsoft picked it up was the more social games in nature, and Minecraft is definitely that, especially now with the cross-platform sharing and stuff like that, where it works everywhere except PlayStation. That, like, it's definitely a socially game, so to be able to add another level of social interaction to it, I think is a pretty cool capability. And obviously we're fans of Mixer. Like I said, we're streaming to it right now. In fact, if you listened at the beginning of the show and just went to f5live.tv/join us, Mixer is the one that's embedded right there on the page. I've been a big fan of the platform since Microsoft did the big makeover. I think it works. Just even if you use it normally, I think it works better than Twitch. But I really like this capability, and I hope that we start seeing it in more platforms. But I'm definitely glad that the place that Microsoft is focusing on is the more social games. If you had a choice, where would you want to see it go next?
I mean, I guess I'd like to see it go into, more kind of family, more family types of games. I think that could be cool.
Yeah, for sure. I know the chances of them doing this are slim, but I think some of the games that are popular with Twitch speedrunners, like some of the Nintendo games, the Mario Maker and stuff, the chances of Nintendo implementing Microsoft's platform are, slim. But, I mean, they just launched a new game on iOS and Android, so maybe not. I think that would be kind of fun. The games that are really popular for, like, speedruns on Twitch, it could be a lot of fun to trip up the speedrunners from time to time.
Yeah, I think that could be very cool.
So that would be where I'd like to see it personally. But hopefully, just in general, we'll start seeing it show up in more places. But I'm definitely glad. Bringing it to Minecraft could be the thing that starts pushing other developers to do it. So fingers crossed. I'd love to figure out a way to include it in the live broadcast. That would be fun too. I don't know how we would do that though. I have to think on that.
Definitely something to ponder.
This week's news from the tubes on F5 Live is proudly powered by Riff Tracks. Make fun of movies or let the professionals do it for you because that's what they get paid to do. The guys who used to do Mystery Science Theater 3000 are back and doing what they do best, making fun of movies, from blockbusters to we'll go with Angel's Revenge. I don't know. They've obviously got a little bit of everything. And the way it normally works is for a couple of bucks, you download the MP3, play it along with Netflix, Amazon, your DVD, wherever you happen to have the movie, and laugh. From time to time, they mix it up and do some live shows. 2017 is complete, and they have not announced 2018 yet, but hopefully they will soon, because the live shows are some of my absolute favorites. And because it's that time, Cyber Monday, you can get 20% off all riffs. Does not appear to be any exclusions this time, so no Wes Craven's Mind Ripper, only one riff exclusion. And if you spend $15, you get a free bonus pack, and their bonus packs are usually really great. So now would definitely be the time to go check them out if you have not done it before by going to f5live.tv/rifftracks. They've even put a place on the website, which I really love, where they list the movies that are currently available on Netflix, which I thought was pretty cool. So buy these because you already have the movie if you have Netflix, which I thought was pretty cool. This is a bit more of a editorial, maybe, conversation, but it's a topic that's come up again this week. The Department of Justice has been, and to be fair, this has been around since the 90s, but it's gotten more intense in the last year or so, and this week because of a presentation. The Department of Justice is once again calling for, quote, responsible encryption. And basically what they mean by that is irresponsible encryption. They want your data to be encrypted in such a way that there is an encryption backdoor, which that obviously that means that the only people who will have unbreakable encryption are the quote-unquote outlaws, which is the opposite of what their goal is, right? The Department of Justice sees encryption, particularly by services like Microsoft Azure and Google and Apple and all the cloud services, as a prevention from warrants, which I can see where their head is there, but you know that if they were to pass some sort of a regulation that makes Microsoft and Google and Apple have a backdoor, that the people who are actually trying to hide something are going to use their own encryption that's not going to have the backdoor. So you and I will be the ones who could be exposed, but not the people who are actually up to no good, which seems backwards.
I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
No, I don't like this at all. I mean, look, I think to put it kindly, I think we've seen over the years the tremendous potential for abuse, when potential for abuse with these sorts of things. Like, you just don't know. Can you 100% trust that everyone in the government who would have access to this backdoor would use it, would respect your rights?
Yeah, would do it responsibly? No, of course not.
Can you check? Can you 100% trust that nobody else, even if, let's say, everyone who legally had access to get your stuff, would only do it under,
Yeah.
Even if you could trust them, how do you trust that when there's a backdoor, somebody else can't find a way to open it?
Yeah, so, once there's a backdoor, there's a backdoor. Anytime there's a point of entry, there's a point of failure.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely against the spirit of encryption.
Right.
Yes, I know that there's always the hypothetical. Oh, it's. I mean, we say the same thing about other means of doing things warrantlessly or lawlessly. Well, what if the only way to get this information is to have Apple unlock someone's iPhone for you? What if the only way to get this information is to be able to confiscate people's phones at the airport without a warrant? The more of these things we lose, the less it feels like freedom to me. So I think I don't think they should go. I don't think that I wouldn't trust any company that goes along with this.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as soon as something like this started to happen, and all of the I mean, Microsoft has been fighting this since the early '90s. Like, right from the beginning, nobody was asking Apple to do anything in the early '90s except make enough money to keep their lights on, and Google didn't exist. But Microsoft and Yahoo and companies like that have been fighting this since the beginning of the requests. So I don't see them ever getting on board, even if it goes in place. I can see them like pulling encryption and recommending other services, like not including it themselves, just because it's crazy that it's so unsafe. You mentioned unlocking an iPhone, and Apple refused to do it because they said basically the same thing I said. Once a backdoor exists, it exists. And so they wouldn't unlock that. The San Bernardino iPhone? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
They said absolutely not. And of course they did. We're not going to write a special firmware for this because once it exists and it's going to get out. And as soon as you create an encryption backdoor, who's everybody involved? Well, there's all the engineers at the companies who have created the backdoor. There's the people in the government who have the backdoor. That crap's going to get out quick.
Yep. So, yeah, it goes totally against everything that encryption stands for. And by the way, what this could ultimately lead to is people who really, let's say everything here had to have a backdoor by law or something. That doesn't sound like freedom to me, but I could see it happening. So let's say it was legislated. So then people would find other places to put their data that wasn't in the United States.
Exactly. Or they'd write their own encryption that, like, I'd write my own to hide my own stuff, and then those would be the files that would get uploaded to Apple or Microsoft or Google, and then they're still SOL.
Right. There's other ways around it. So once again, it's for people who, now look, there's a lot of people who don't know what they're doing. Who are engaged in criminal activity, and they're not criminal masterminds finding their own encryption. So, I'm sure that if they had this backdoor, they would be able to get into more people's stuff, no doubt about it. But look, that means that still people who are really, really, trying to hide their information would certainly be able to do so.
Yeah,
would still be able to do so. So,
they might be able to bust a couple extra drug dealers, but the real problems would still continue to be problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No question about it. So yeah, this is just poisoning the well for everybody.
Exactly.
And for businesses, and yeah, it's obviously a terrible idea.
That seems like the punctuation at the end of that sentence. Thank you, Avram. This week's DRM not included on F5 Live is proudly powered by Amazon Prime. Right now is the time, more than any other time of the year, that you probably want and need Amazon Prime. And good news, we have a 30-day free trial for you if you do not already have Prime. And in addition to the wonderful 2-day or sometimes same-day free shipping, you also get a bunch of other things like Amazon Prime Music, where you can stream a couple million songs for free included in your Prime subscription, or Prime Video, where there are all kinds of movies and TV shows and originals, the back catalog for stuff for HBO and Showtime, all available there. Plus, we talked about We mentioned Twitch earlier. Twitch is now part of Amazon, and Twitch Prime gives you free subscription to one channel per month, which is pretty great. You've also got Amazon Prime Photos, which interestingly enough includes encryption that hopefully won't have a backdoor one day, and unlimited storage for photos. And there's a whole lot of other features of Amazon Prime. You can find out about all of them and get your 30-day free trial by going to f5live.tv/Amazon. See how I tied that back in? Okay, so YouTube has had some problems this year. It seems like their algorithms have almost worked against them from time to time. Certainly in the public eye, a couple months ago, we talked about how like 80% of their advertisers pulled out when their advertisements started showing up next to crazy videos, jihadist videos, and violent videos and stuff like that, which they were specifically not allowed to go along with. And so Amazon, or what's their name? YouTube had to do a whole bunch of manual stuff to change the way all of that worked. And now they are up against parents, which is never a good group of people to have against you. And it's because of their YouTube Kids service, which is supposed to be a kid-friendly version of YouTube, where the content, the comments, the whole system is very contained and very safe for younger viewers. Well, the algorithm over there has also gone a little sideways and has been including some not kid-friendly content, including some graphic and sexual in nature content, some really weird stuff, Mickey Mouse in a pool of blood, like all kinds of weird stuff has started to show up on YouTube Kids. And in fact, BuzzFeed reported a couple of weeks ago a number of incredibly inappropriate videos to YouTube that were then dismissed from the service entirely. And in addition to the content itself, they've had a lot of trouble with comments. We know that the internet has been, ever since the Ice Bucket Challenge, the internet, in particular YouTube, has kind of flocked to this challenge concept. Two of the current ones are theoretically innocent, but not necessarily. One is the yoga challenge, and the other is the ice pants challenge, both of which can go a little sideways when kids are involved. And when you combine that with the types of comments that you find on YouTube, they have both definitely gone sideways. So YouTube has had a lot of problems with YouTube Kids. And so what they've been working to do is put new policies in place, which makes sense. It's what they did after the advertising debacle. They put new policies in place and changed the way the AI worked and put some people in the middle. And they've added 5 new guidelines, which include tougher application of community guidelines and faster enforcement, removing ads from inappropriate videos targeting families, which is the one I'm going to come back to in a second, blocking inappropriate comments on videos featuring minors, which I can tell you is a really important one, providing guidance for creators who make family-friendly content. So they're gonna help those that are affected by some of these other ones, and then engage and learn from experts. Okay, let me get back to number 2 real quick, because it's the one that I think is going to cause them, or may have already begun to cause them, some problems. It's removing ads from inappropriate videos targeting families. Their definition of targeting...
Removing ads?
Yeah.
Or removing them from the YouTube Kids channel?
Both. That the removing them from the YouTube Kids is included in the first one, and then as kind of as like punitive punishment, the second one is demonetizing them in an attempt to prevent them from creating the content if they can't monetize it. But the problem with it is, what are videos, quote unquote, targeting families? Because after these policies went into place, we saw a number of video game YouTube channels get demonetized across the board. Like, there are a couple of high-profile guys this week who were demonetized 100%. But their content doesn't target families, but they are video game videos.
So any kind of video game video is targeting families?
Maybe. That's the thing that I'm worried about, is that they don't have a tight enough definition of what targeting families means.
What's the definition of inappropriate?
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of ambiguity in this. They have more detailed definitions of all 5 of these bullet points on their blog, but I'll tell you, even reading the detailed version does not make me comfortable that they're not going to miss target. Honestly, I think the only way that they're going to be able to get YouTube Kids to work properly is to add a switch in the video upload that says this is YouTube Kids, and then they start applying the rules. I think that's the only way you can do it.
I think that would make sense, is that you submit it basically to kids.
Yeah.
To the kids channel. It's I guess it's also a little bit weird though, because obviously people look at things that are not with kids that are not quote unquote YouTube Kids. One that my son and I look at a lot is we look at game walkthroughs. So I guess they're right that game walkthroughs might target families. I guess it depends on the game though, because we're looking at like Lego games that we're playing. We're not looking at like Grand Theft Auto 5 or something like.
Yeah.
If
you're not researching Call of Duty.
If a Grand Theft Auto 5, like if a game that was like a mature game has mature content in the video, I can't really blame anybody for
Sure.
Like, you shouldn't say that's targeting families, because like they shouldn't be watching it, in the first place.
Trying to demonetize that video would be ridiculous, because that's not targeting kids or families.
So now the question is, what's inappropriate, right? So I've had situations even this weekend, right? My son and I are big into playing like the Lego video games on the PlayStation, right? He likes them a lot. He liked Lego Dimensions, and now we're playing the Lego Star Wars. And
I'm a big fan of those games too.
And we got stuck a lot.
Okay.
Sure. And he's not super patient to figure it out. So he's like, let's see the video. So I go and I pull up a video on YouTube. And my big concern is, like, if there's audio in the video, is someone going to curse? Like, there's not, they're showing the game, so there's not going to show anything visually that's inappropriate. Sometimes I'll take it and I'll just turn the volume all the way down. But it would be good to know if they used any curse words during the video, because I really don't want him learning that word, word like that, and going to school and saying it, and then I'm going to get a call from the teacher and I'm going to be in trouble. So, that's the bottom line. So, I mean, I would like to know that. Like, the other day I was playing one for him, and somebody said, the S word, and listen, amongst adults that's nothing, but for kids you don't want to saying that. So, it's so it would have been good to know that. Now my philosophy is I'm just like going to try and just turn the sound off. So he can't hear it. He could just see them walking through the game.
Sure.
So, but that's the. So I kind of get where they're coming from with games being for families, but determining what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, what's like, do you demonetize this person because in the middle of a game walkthrough that they didn't say was for kids?
Right.
It's a game that kids may play. Uh, they said, oh,
Uh-huh.
S word, you know,
Right.
at one point. Like, I mean, who's also how good is the AI at picking this stuff up?
Right.
I mean, when I use the
So
automatic,
so far obviously not great.
I mean, one clue might be the automatic closed caption, right? You ever use the automatic closed caption
Uh-huh.
on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
What percentage of words do they get wrong? Pretty high one, right?
Yeah.
Like I've had it try to create transcripts for me, and I had to go in and edit like half the words.
Uh-huh.
So, so
Like
you know,
I'd pay money to see what came out of this conversation. You know what I mean? Like it would be, that the transcript on this is going to come out bizarre. There's
right,
there's
exactly,
two volume levels and there's all kinds of things that are going to screw it up.
right, exactly. So you don't have to pay money; you can upload it to YouTube and find out. Uh,
Uh,
but uh, but yes. So if that's that's what their AI sees, right?
yeah.
When it's looking at the audio anyway, can you really trust that?
No. No, not at
What if
all.
you what if you're talking about a ship
Uh-huh.
and it doesn't hear you right?
That's what I was just thinking.
No,
If
you know,
if it's Apple's voice recognition, it's certainly going to seemingly always go to the naughty for some reason.
yeah, you know, what
Yeah.
if you're using a fork? What if you say the word fork?
Mhm.
I mean,
Or
you know,
or vice versa. What if you're doing the Lego Pirates of the Caribbean and you don't say ship?
right? And then it thinks that you did.
Right,
Yes.
because
So
maybe it's picking up context clues.
maybe, yeah, exactly. So I don't trust it. It's really it's I mean obviously that's where they probably let that kind of thing go,
Mhm.
but it's hard to say. I do think they would be better off with things that are marked for kids. This would be much less content though, but having things that were sort of verified,
Yeah.
much like they have verified on Twitter or whatever, like
Mhm.
this video has been verified, this, or even if you could get to a point of maybe this is a trusted person, like a
Yeah.
trusted post,
Trusted channel.
trusted channel.
Yeah, that would make
You know,
sense.
you know, you just can't. I know that all these places want to do everything through AI. There's just not enough human beings in the world to watch every YouTube video
Yeah.
that's uploaded. But
Because
there's got to be a human element.
there's a really old statistic that this was years ago. YouTube said that they had like a day and a half of video uploaded every minute.
Yeah. Well, that's why people would need to, as you suggest, opt in to being in the kids channel,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And maybe if you really want to monetize it and you want your video to be put I mean, a lot of people are going to view YouTube without looking at the kids channel.
Right.
Let's just be straight about that.
Absolutely.
Like when I'm looking for these game videos, I'm not looking to see are they in the kids channel or
Mhm.
not. Like are they in YouTube Kids or not?
Right.
We just, you know, but I think YouTube Kids is more for not the kid who's watching it with their parent right there, but like, oh, okay, I'm going to hand my kid the tablet and get him
Yeah.
access to YouTube and hope for the best.
Yeah.
You know, uh, which by the way, if you have a Fire tablet for kids, Amazon does a great job of giving you really age appropriate stuff.
Yeah, they
But
do.
it's not user submitted. You know, you pay
Yeah.
for free time unlimited, or if you buy the kids tablet, you get a year free of it. So that's pretty darn good. And then it costs you $3 a month thereafter. They give you like all the great kids stuff, Disney stuff, Nickelodeon stuff, all the stuff that kids really want.
Yeah.
And it's not a wild west of user submitted content and copyright violations and things like that. I mean, I love YouTube, but it's the Wild West.
It really is.
I mean, that's part of what people like about it, that there's so much user submitted content.
Right.
And sometimes there are things on there that are sort of a gray area legally, like they really are copyright material, but YouTube hasn't caught them yet. I mean, you just go look for movies on YouTube, and sometimes you'll see movies or really old episode TV shows, maybe some things that have even been digitized, around. So YouTube is the Wild West, and YouTube is making money. Google is making money off of the Wild West, and the content providers are making money off of it being the Wild West. But when you want to introduce kids to it, it's really difficult to send your kid into the Wild West if you don't want them to come back having seen something that they shouldn't have seen, or heard something that they shouldn't have heard.
Sure, exactly. Yeah, it's almost an impossible task.
Yeah,
on
the
Google's.
possible is the best thing is to do what Amazon does, and either have a preset of content or just have a bunch of trusted sources.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah.
Instead of blacklisting, whitelist.
Yeah, I think that's a much better idea for sure. It'll be interesting to see how this stuff actually goes into effect, and how it affects those people who are like regular content creators. Well, that is our show. Thank you to those of you who have joined us live. We've had people in and out of the chat room tonight. Thank you for joining us live. If you're not able to join us live, that's okay. PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe. From there, you can see this and all of our other series as well. We're gonna obviously we're a little shorter tonight in a way that I actually kind of liked, because Avram's got an early morning, and so I want to thank Avram and his team once again for all that they have done on great work on curating deals all weekend on Thanksgiving and everything, because I know a lot of people really appreciate that stuff. So I guess with that, on behalf of the staff that's not here, I'm Scott.
I'm Avram.
And we will see you guys back next week. Ciao.